Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pigskin Paisanos show. I am Paul, and we are going over your week one matchups for your start and sits of the week. And I'm going to talk about a fun one this week. That's going to be the San Francisco 49ers facing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This game is going to be a shootout, in my honest opinion. So we're gonna just jump right into the starts for the 49ers. Jimmy G is back, and I think he's gonna have a pretty good year again. I'm a big fan of him, and so I see him, doing well in this game. Tampa Bay and San Francisco were one of the worst pass defenses last season. So you know that this game is going to be a passing game. And I see Jimmy G going off for, maybe 300 yards and a touchdown or two. You are starting Matt Breida and Tevin Coleman. I know you're going to say, oh, man, Paul, like, are you really sure about Matt Breida? Yeah, I'm pretty sure about Matt Breida. The dude's pretty good, and he could eventually take the lead role because Tevin Coleman, as we saw, Tevin Coleman had his chance last year to take over that backfield in Atlanta. He was wildly inconsistent, had maybe one or two good games, if I believe. I traded for him, and I was so disappointed. And then I saw like Ito Smith cutting into his work, and so just Tevin Coleman to me, he is that he is more like Latavius Murray, Mark Ingram. He's the perfect 1B to a 1A. So to me, Breida is the 1A. So because you might get a low timeshare, I would start both guys in the flex spots, and I would favor Breida over Tevin Coleman. You are starting Dante Pettis and George Kittle. There is no way that you are sitting George Kittle ever. He was one of the best fantasy tight ends last season. I would rate him the second best tight end behind Travis Kelce, and that is really only because Travis Kelce is just in a dynamic, insane offense with the Chiefs. If George Kittle was on the Chiefs, I would definitely favor him over Travis Kelce. But again, Kittle is going to be targeted by Jimmy G. Jimmy G is a much better quarterback than Nick Mullins or Beathard or whoever the hell that they were throwing out there last year. And Kittle still had an insane fantasy season with trash quarterbacks. So, guys, again, you are starting George Kittle without a doubt. And you have to start Dante Pettis. He is the official number one wideout on their depth chart. And because of that, you have to sit Marquise Goodwin and Deebo Samuel. I love Deebo Samuel. I think he's going to be a great player in this league, hopefully this year as well. I drafted him as a keeper, so hopefully he really blossoms. Marquise Goodwin, we know, had pretty good chemistry with Jimmy G. But again, Goodwin gets hurt, and now Pettis, right now is the number one. So you're starting Dante Pettis maybe as a wide receiver 3 with upside, of course. And you're starting Breida, you're starting Coleman, you're definitely starting Kittle, and you're starting Jimmy G. For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, this offense is going to pass the ball a ton, just like last season. And so to start it off, the guy throwing the ball, Jameis Winston, you have to start Jameis Winston. He should finish top 10 quarterback. He is a top 10 play every single week, unless he has a complete brain fart, which he does have, and he just throws a bunch of picks and shows you why you can't always trust him. But as of right now, we know that they're going to throw the ball. They're going to force feed this passing game. And because of that, you're starting Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and OJ Howard. You are starting all these guys. They're all going to get a massive target share this season. I'm really excited about Howard. I hope that he can really blossom into the stud tight end that a lot of us think that he's going to be. Chris Godwin, this is his season to really break out. And Mike Evans, I mean, if there was ever a time to really solidify yourself as a top wideout in this league, we all know his talent level, but whenever you mention the top guys catching footballs, you don't really mention Mike Evans. You mentioned Julio Jones. You mentioned Odell Beckham Jr. But Mike Evans is talent-wise and size. I mean, the dude is massive. And, I mean, last season he faced the Saints, and he destroyed that secondary. I was absolutely stunned at just how dominant this guy was. And so Mike Evans just needs a consistent level of targets peppered to him, and I think Jameis Winston is going to do that, especially in this game, and with that passing defense on the 49ers, which felt the stiff arm of Vance McDonald not too long ago. Also, you are sitting Peyton Barber and Ronald Jones II. For some reason, Tampa Bay just loves Peyton Barber. He, to me, is the ultimate plotting running back. And, I mean, you can't start Ronald Jones because you have Peyton Barber there. You can't start Peyton Barber because he's Peyton Barber. And because of O.J. Howard and his massive upside, you have to sit Cameron Brate as well. I think Cameron Brate's days are done as far as being a top tight end or possible tight end option. Brate, to me, is only a tight end you start if, there's injury concern to Howard. So, again, let's summarize. For the 49ers, you're starting Jimmy G, you're starting Matt Breida, you're starting Tevin Coleman, you're starting Dante Pettis, and you are definitely starting George Kittle. For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you're starting Jameis Winston, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, O.J. Howard, and you are sitting the pathetic Peyton Barber and Ronald Jones II and Cameron Brate. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Those are my starts and sits for week 1. Take care.